What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is your one-stop shop for all things Dallas Cowboys. Now, today we've got some incredibly exciting news that's been making waves across the NFL world. The Dallas Cowboys just received some major updates on the 2025 NFL salary cap, and let me tell you, it's huge. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if you're ready to see the Cowboys make a push toward the future with these financial moves. Alright, let's get into it. Now, for those of you who might be new to salary cap talk or aren't as familiar with the NFL's financial landscape, let's take a quick step back and break it down. The salary cap is essentially the maximum amount of money a team can spend on player salaries in a given season. For the Cowboys, this has been a critical piece of the puzzle as they try to build a competitive team while keeping their financials in check. The Cowboys, like every NFL team, have to balance their roster with big names and rising stars, but they also need to manage the salary cap to ensure they're not overpaying players and running into cap issues down the road. Over the last few years, we've seen the Cowboys make some significant moves to restructure contracts and create more flexibility. But now, things are about to get even more interesting as we look ahead to 2025. Let's start by talking about what's really at stake here. In the NFL, salary cap space can make or break a team's ability to sign free agents, extend contracts for key players, or make big trades. As we approach 2025, the financial landscape of the league is changing. The NFL is coming off a big TV rights deal and the massive increase in streaming contracts. This has led to a significant spike in the salary cap, and it's expected to hit new record highs in the coming seasons. To give you an idea, the salary cap for 2024 is projected to be around $240 million, which is a jump from previous years. But what's even more exciting is that by 2025, the cap could hit a whopping $260 million or even higher. This is where the Cowboys' opportunity lies. So, you might be wondering, how does all of this directly impact the Cowboys? Well, it comes down to flexibility, folks. The Cowboys have a pretty solid foundation right now, with key players like Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb locked into long-term deals. But there are still a few contracts that are going to need attention over the next couple of years. Let's start with Dak Prescott. The quarterback position is always the highest paid, and Dak's current deal, a 4-year, $160 million contract, was structured to keep him around for the long term but also to leave room for renegotiation down the road. Now, with the salary cap expected to rise significantly, the Cowboys could find themselves in a position to extend Dak even further without putting too much strain on their cap space. With a potential spike in cap space, Jerry Jones and the front office could rework Dak's deal to give him more guaranteed money while lowering his cap hit for the short term. This could free up millions in cap space for other moves, especially to secure key players on both sides of the ball. Now let's talk about player extensions and adding new talent. With the salary cap projected to jump in 2025, the Cowboys could find themselves with the ability to extend a few players who are entering contract years soon. For example, key stars like Trayvon Diggs, Tony Pollard, and of course, Micah Parsons are all potential candidates for big extensions. Micah Parsons, in particular, is going to be a hot topic. As one of the most dynamic defensive players in the NFL, Parsons is up for a massive payday. With the salary cap increasing, the Cowboys will have more flexibility to lock him down to a record-setting deal without crippling the rest of their roster. Imagine having Parsons on a long-term deal and then using the extra cap space to add more pieces to the defense, or even the offensive line. And then there's Tony Pollard. While the Cowboys are already dealing with his franchise tag for 2024, the cap rise in 2025 could allow them to negotiate a long-term deal that helps them secure a reliable running back without worrying about the financial implications of a high cap hit. And speaking of the Cowboys adding more pieces, let's talk about the free agent market. With the rise in the salary cap, there's a whole host of free agents that could suddenly be within the Cowboys' reach. Teams around the league are going to be looking to capitalize on that cap space too, but the Cowboys are in a good position. With a solid young core, the Cowboys could use this extra cap space to target specific areas where they need depth, like cornerback, or even adding a veteran pass rusher to pair alongside Micah Parsons. Think about the possibilities if the Cowboys can get their hands on a high-level free agent to push them over the top in their pursuit of a Super Bowl. Whether it's a top-tier cornerback or an offensive lineman to protect Dak, 2025 could be the year they make a splash in free agency. What's most exciting about this news is the salary cap flexibility it gives the Cowboys. In 2025, it's not just about big contracts. It's about how Jerry Jones and the front office can move money around, whether it's through contract restructures, releasing underperforming players, or simply finding the right value in the market. This newfound flexibility can help the Cowboys make moves they haven't been able to pull off in recent years. Take a look at some of the past decisions the Cowboys have made with their salary cap, restructuring contracts like Tyron Smith's or even DeMarcus Lawrence's. With this extra room, the Cowboys won't be as restricted by these kinds of moves. They can get creative and maneuver their way into a more favorable position both now and in the future. Alright, let's tie this all together. What does this all mean for the Cowboys' Super Bowl aspirations? The increase in the salary cap and the flexibility it brings could give Dallas the chance to make one final push toward a championship. The NFC is tough, and the competition is fierce, but with the right moves, extending key players, adding free agents, and restructuring contracts, the Cowboys could put together a roster that's truly capable of winning it all in 2025. We've seen the Cowboys come close in recent years, but with the financial tools at their disposal, 2025 could be the year they finally break through. A few smart moves, a bit of luck, and a dominant roster could be the recipe for that long-awaited sixth ring. So, Cowboys Nation, what do you think? How will the increased salary cap in 2025 impact the Cowboys' future? Are they poised for a big offseason in free agency, or will they focus on keeping their key guys in place? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button if you're as excited as I am about what's ahead for Dallas. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you do that now so you don't miss any of the latest Cowboys news. As always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay hungry, stay hopeful, and go Cowboys!